So, Captain Marvel is the origin story of Captain Marvel. Surprising, I know, but there is a little more to it. The whole thing is embroiled in this big intergalactic war between the Kree and the Skrulls. The Kree being a bunch of blue aliens and the Skrulls being a bunch of green aliens. Except that the Skrulls have innate shape-shifting powers, which becomes, I guess, one of the driving points in the story. Though it does take a definite back seat to 90s nostalgia, as majority of the film is set on the circa 1990s Earth. And here I'm going to go straight into the first pro of the film, which is Samuel L. Jackson as a much younger, less jaded, and less shapely Nick Fury that hasn't quite had his eyes open, if you will, to the extent of the threats that Earth could be under, you know. And while the backwards transition rather, from the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. to simply an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. might seem like a downgrade in terms of his characterization and screen time, it's actually a huge upgrade. And he is worth every second that he's on screen. He is funny, he is fun. He provides a sort of a stand-in for the audience, as a lot of his reactions to situations around him are similar to what we would have in these similar situations were we in the situations that he's in. At the same time, he is a soldier, and this is a movie with a war as a backdrop, which sort of brings me on to my pro number 2, in that this movie, not in a huge way, but in a meaningful way, does illustrate that war is ugly business, that there are victims on both sides and there are perpetrators on both sides, and nobody's hands are clean as they were. From the pros down to the cons, the first and main of which is the misplaced humor in the film. This movie tries very hard to be funny, a lot more than it needs to, and it shows, and it's just cringeworthy and just makes it all that much worse when the jokes fall flat on their face. It's like watching a bad stand-up, except you can't boo them off the stage. Yeah, not much really else to say about it. Not as funny as it tries to be, and really shouldn't be trying that hard either. Which is kind of funny to say, because it obviously didn't try all that hard with its plot. In the end, I sort of feel like it doesn't matter what I say here, it's not going to sway anyone's mind about this film, because honestly, you look at the poster, you read the basic plot premise, and you know exactly what you're gonna get. And if it's your thing, it's your thing. If it's not, it's not. And mostly that will probably be dictated by the fact whether or not you are a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. If you are, you've already booked your ticket and you've already gone and watched it by now, or are planning to. If you're not, you're not, and that's perfectly fine. But I still should probably give my take. So my take is, I don't regret watching it, but I didn't find it nearly as amazing, I suppose, as it could have been, if that makes sense.